So, talking through the content of my portfolio, throughout the portfolio, you'll see the things we've done in the different weeks of the different lectures we had. So, from week 1 to about week 4 or 5, we started off just like doing interview skills and like mock interviews and stuff like that with another person from the class. So, you basically got a sheet that said either sport coach role or PE teacher role, and basically got asked questions that are very relevant to that industry and how you like obviously working on your answers and getting scored of how well you did. Going from that, we learned about CV writing, so how to structure a CV properly. How to get a literature right, good cover letters, and how to appeal to a new boss you might have. And also doing tasks such like personality and values tasks and communication tasks, just to make sure that you know like what characteristic personality work in that industry and what don't, and then how to communicate effectively, especially when it comes to barriers, because people don't understand the barriers you have when it comes to communication, such as like people with disabilities. So you need to know these barriers if you want to overcome them. The characteristics that I think make me employable, the first one I think would be that I'm very honest. You have to be very honest when you're a sports coach. For example, when you're trying to find someone's strengths and weaknesses, you need to be honest to find out the strengths, but the weaknesses the most part, because a lot of people don't want to hear their weaknesses. But weaknesses something needs to be improved on to make them a better player. So being honest about their weaknesses only can make them improve. So being honest about the weaknesses and being honest about when it comes to creating like a sort of a plan for them to get better can only help you when you're in that industry. Another one, I think I'm a leader, so I can take a group of between say at least 10 people up to maybe about 30 people. I've done that before, and trying to control them on your own, especially when they're a little bit older, is more difficult. But doing that, it gives you the experience, and I think me being a leader, especially when I've got quite a controlling voice and a loud voice, and I can use terminology properly to show them in the right direction and stuff like that. So I believe leaders are a very good quality to have when you want to be a sports coach, because you need to be able to control your whole group and make sure they all respect you and look up to you as well as a role model, which is very important, especially when you're working with younger kids. And the third characteristic I think would be that I'm quite brave when it comes to my sessions. So I'll do a lot of drills out of my own philosophy. So for example, I'll do a shooting drill that not many people have seen before. And in doing that, it means that they don't get tedious or they don't get bored from that session, which means they want to come back and they also always want to improve. What my participation in the activities for this module, I think I've done quite well, because every time I've had a question, I'll always ask it, and it means that I've actually improved the way that I've learned, and I've learned quite a lot through this module, especially about myself, because with CV writing as well, that's helped me a lot. Going through that module, it was difficult because I wasn't very good at writing, so I hadn't done many before. Didn't know how to structure it properly, what to put down, how to make it relevant to that industry. So especially doing that, it helped me a lot, and writing up CVs and structuring them properly is the first impression that a new employer will get from you. So doing that is vital. Throughout this year, I've actually set myself a goal of trying to get my FA level 2. Getting that makes you more employable when you're trying to get into a football coach role. I did the FA safeguard and the FA first aid ones, which I've already got, but getting the level 2 is obviously higher than the level 1. It gives you that extra push in front of someone that might not have it. And going about achieving this, I'm going to want to get in touch with my local football club and make sure that I can get a team together and get my hours up for my level 2, which is very important for the career path I want to actually go down. In the past 2 years, I have done quite a few activities that have helped me make my CV more employable, or make myself more employable. I've done my cricket level 1, which came with a cricket safeguarding for it's called All Stars cricket, so the younger cricket teams. I've achieved my cricket level 1. I also achieved my basketball level 1, which is because not many people have a basketball level 1, and basketball is quite a big sport when it comes to schools. Like younger kids like playing basketball, so that's a very important one. As just mentioned, I've done my safeguarding and a couple of safeguarding and my first aid, and I've also done a CER safeguarding course, which is a teaching company. So safeguarding within the classroom, like with like younger kids for like first schools mostly. I did a safeguarding course for that, which means I'm up to date with all the different rules and regulations of being a teacher, even though that's not my desired career aspiration. I want to be a sports coach, but having that teaching one gives me another option, which can help me in the future. What motivates me to do better, and how do I motivate others? What motivates me is trying to get people to improve, especially when you're a sports coach and you're working with kids. I think that's what I want to work with younger kids. Watching them go from knowing just to kick a ball is basically all they know, to teaching them, tactics and the technical side of it, techniques of certain skills. So, for example, passing, you use the side of your foot instead of, just toe poking it like a lot of younger kids do. Being able to do that and trying to make them better, I think that motivates me, especially when it's younger kids, like I said. Making them go from literally knowing nothing to knowing just as much as they possibly can motivates me. And motivating others, I think, is better working with kids if you have like intrinsic factors. So, for example, when you score a goal, you get something for that. Especially when it comes to games, having them just and making sure they're just having fun. I think getting them to have fun in a session is very good, and it means that if they're having fun in a session, they'll want to come back the next time, and the next time, and the next time. If they're having fun every single session, which is very important to me. As work situation that I found difficult and how I overcame that, well, when I used to coach an under-16 team, I was only 2 years older than that team. It was very difficult to control, and I think that's made me sort of the coach I am today by coaching that team. There was a lot where they just sort of tried to overpower me a lot, and I had to sort of, stand up a little bit and make myself a bigger voice and become the leader I needed to be, which is very good, and it helped me a lot, especially with getting like the louder voice and knowing a lot of things about how to control. I think learning to control the older team helps with controlling the younger team, because the older teams are a lot easier to handle, but when you're only a couple years older, they think they can overpower you. So being able to control that team is a very important thing for me, especially when it was not long ago. It helped me become, like I said, the coach I am today. Working in my chosen industry mean to me. I think working in my chosen industry is something I've wanted to do for a long time, especially when I first started coaching. I got my FA Level 1 first off. As soon as I got that, I knew I wanted to become a coach and wanted to do that probably for the most part of my life, trying to help people, not just in football, but football mainly, as that's probably my main sport, getting them to go from, like I said, going from nothing. And to make sure that they can improve every single time they come into one of my sessions, and when they leave, they know something new and they've expanded their knowledge a little bit more. What would I be able to offer to some employers? Well, like I say, my experience, I've had an experience with working with not just under 16s and older level, but under 8 as well. So I've literally worked from the lowest level you can to the highest level before it becomes like an elite age. Having this experience probably makes me more employable than someone who doesn't, even though they might have all the badges. Experience does help when you're trying to be employed. So having the experience, I think, will help me a lot, and also being able to take my knowledge and give it to somebody else and help them improve. I think that's what will help me become employed by getting the job I want. How have I personally developed as a result of this course? From this course, I've learned a lot about myself, especially the communicating and the barriers. I didn't know a lot of the barriers because I hadn't worked with, disabled kids and stuff like that. So people that have had problems when it comes to communicating. So I know a lot of the barriers now, and it gives me an insight of how to overcome them. If you know the barriers first, then you're already halfway there to overcoming these barriers. CV writing as well, that helped me a lot because I didn't know how to structure CV properly. It just means that I can give a much better first impression of myself to an employer without actually seeing them. And also the interview skills, if I do get the interview, and hopefully I get the interview every time I give a CV in now because I know how to structure it properly. Doing this, it means that I can give a first impression when I'm in an interview, so speak with confidence and say everything that they need me to say, and know everything I know. It'll help me a lot when it comes to becoming employed, and that's how I'll apply them in the future. If I get an interview, I'll communicate confidently. I'll speak of what I know of and the knowledge I have, and having the knowledge I have will help me become employed in the future. So this course helped me a lot, and especially when it comes to the future, I'll be able to use this course to everyday life pretty much.